Hey everyone. It seems that a lot of people on the left-wing progressive front are already starting to regret and give a lot of frustration about the current administration. No surprise, folks. They're already pointing out, well, he is a stooge, they're shills for the Wall Street elites, the military-industrial complex, foreign one-sided trade deal interests. What did you expect, folks?
Cap CEO pay! Kamala Harris, you're funded by Wall Street! Kamala Harris is funded by Wall Street! Look at her state of California, it's a mess!
What did you expect? Just look at their track records, look at their donors. That's all you really have to see. Back in 2016, the vast majority of Americans were upset with the establishment. That's why you got candidates like Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump back then. The majority of Americans, or somehow Americans, are okay with the establishment powers running the show.
Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything.
After all the frustration, after all of the mess and the chaos we're having, give me a break. I don't believe it. And I'm starting to really understand what was the whole point of the pandemic, the BLM Antifa riots. This is the main reason why I have a problem with mass immigration into the United States.
An unrelenting stream of immigration. Non-stop. Folks like me who were Caucasian of European descent, for the first time in 2017, will be in an absolute minority in the United States of America.
Now, you guys want to keep pointing out, oh, you have a problem with minorities and foreigners and low-skilled people. You're just full of hate. No. The purpose of them being here is the problem. And the fact that we have problems at home and we have horrible resource management, and we need to have to start taking care of our own people in these critical times. But the fact of the matter is that what they're trying to do is not only to get cheap labor for their Wall Street donors, but is to create a sense of emotion and guilt so that we can bring them into the United States, play all this identity politics, victimization card, pump them into the polls, and then this is done. So once they gather support, we can divide the country with playing the race card.
Anything different, that's what they're going to talk about. Race, religion, ethnic and national background, jobs, income, education, social status, sexuality, anything they can do, keep us fighting with each other so that they can keep going to the bank.
The Culinary Union, distract from the major important issues facing our country, especially the Wall Street Federal Reserve cabal. And then at the same time, while politics is getting more crazy and people are getting fed up, the powers that be have their replacement votes. Now you see why these corrupt politicians want mass immigration. That's the main problem behind this. Remember, this is not just happening in America, it's happening in Europe too, which debunks the whole Native American argument. And so, am I really concerned personally? Not really. I'm just enjoying the whole freak show. I'm just seeing this whole bull crap between both parties, all the tension, the riots, everything just fall apart. It's like it's eating itself. Their whole system is not connecting. There's a lack of unity, not just left and right, but even within themselves. And I'm just concerned about, well, am I going to be able to protect my friends, my family, my wealth? That's what I'm mainly concerned about. And the riots are just going to continue. We're just going to see more of it from all sides. Now, there can be unity so that people can come together and realize that it's the top elites, the owners of this country, that are really behind the problem.
Good, honest, hard-working people, white collar, blue collar, doesn't matter what color shirt you have on. Good, honest, hard-working people continue. These are people of modest means. Continue to elect these rich cocksuckers who don't give a fuck about them. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't give a fuck about you. They don't care about you at all.
But it looks like, folks, that the system is sinking And the lockdowns is just going to add more fuel to the fire. And speaking of the economy, I'm telling you, this economy, whether it's this administration, the previous administration, and all the other ones beforehand, you have to understand that it's dependent on very low interest rates. Mortgage rates have come down. And they realize if these mortgage rates go up, it's going to be really the next shoe to drop in our economy. Not just Las Vegas, not just America, but much of the world. And we're going to see home values stop increasing. You're going to see less applications for mortgages, and it's going to disrupt the financial system again. And we're going to have another round of financial calamity. We're going to have another round of bailouts. And when the bailouts come, along with interventions and these one-sided trade deals, you're going to see a lot of their supporters increasingly betrayed. They should have learned their lessons from the Obama administration. Looking at his track record, what change did we really get? Not real major change. It's just more of the same. But they want to keep us distracted, divide us, pushing each other around to do this. And, when the turmoil comes on, we're going to really start to understand that, well, was the last election legitimately won? Think about it. There's going to be a lot of people thinking twice because they're going to understand how could we have such horrible policies and how could it be that the American people supported it? And do they really believe that the virus is as horrible as we were led to believe? Now, I don't want to be misunderstood. It's not like I want the previous administration to come back. Now, I'll give them credit on some of the issues, but at the same time, it's just too much drama, a lot of disagreement. I really believe that it's time for people to just rise up and take the system down. And we also got to make sure that the politicians, the donors, and the fake labor union groups like Culinary, they have to be held accountable for supporting these kinds of buffoon-type policies and the powers that be. So, what I do believe is that let the system fail, or hopefully people will just rise up and just stand up, overthrow the system. I don't know. The country will just break up, and this thing is just going to hopefully correct itself one way or another.
You're realizing that we have to start looking at things from a structuralist perspective. And what that means is that instead of this kind of group versus group stuff that we've been seeing for centuries now, where everyone wants to blame some other ideology or party or group, or that's just the general dominant ethic we see in the streets and so on, we need to start thinking about what is forming the social psychology that is emanating down and influencing and effectively creating this group polarization and all the debate and general social warfare that we see.
All right, now a lot of people are really doom and gloom and talking about perhaps, there's going to be mass extermination, 80%, dollar collapse, all this kind of stuff. Look, I've been hearing this for 10, 15 years now. I understand that fear-mongering can be used to scare people and buy stuff, but at the same time, things are pretty rough. And the worst part about all this, it's who can you really trust? It seems like a lot of these alternative media outlets, companies, they're full of controlled opposition too.